Perfect. All righty, guys. And once again, we wanted to say thank you for bringing your time and consideration to this meeting. We know that you do have a lot of thoughts behind Office of Pupil Transportation and what's going to happen for Summer Rising and with summer school and things of that nature. So it is my pleasure to introduce LaQuanta Chambers. She's the Executive Director of Communications and Engagement, and Lanika Parker, who is the Director of Citywide Programs. We also do have Mr. Brendan Banner, and Brendan is, I believe, over communications, I believe, with the Office of Pupil Transportation. I don't want to give you the incorrect title, but what I will do is go ahead and hand this off to Lanika Parker Moore, who will start the conversation around 683, summer school, Summer Rising, student transportation for the new school year, in addition to speaking about the VIA pilot that's going to be launched for the school year, and if District 75 parents will have the opportunity to be trained on the VIA. So with that being said, I do hand over the meeting to you, and thank you so much for being present.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you for having us. Brendan is going to share a deck that we have for you. As mentioned, we'll just give an overview of our mission statement, talk about summer school, ride share, and then I'll pass it off to LaQuanta to go into VIA. So as I just mentioned, this is the agenda, the mission statement, summarizing ride share, and then VIA overview and expansion. So in accordance with Chancellor's Regulations A801, see below for the regulation with translations for those who need it. The DOE provides transportation to all eligible New York City students in public, charter, and non-public schools in partnership with the MTA and our school age and preschool bus companies. Our mission is to ensure safe and reliable transportation to and from school. So what is the scope of the students in transportation in New York City? So we have the largest ground fleet in North America with about 11,000 vehicles, twice the size of MTA. We provide bus service for public, charter, and non-public schools, as I mentioned. Students receive busing to schools in New York City's 5 boroughs, as well as schools in New York State, Westchester County and Long Island, New Jersey, and Connecticut. So I wanted to go into the transportation. I know it's been a hot button issue when it comes to summer and Summer Rising and what's going to happen for summer school in general. So we wanted to break out our curb to school population. This was formerly known as SC or special education busing. However, it is curb to school because there are multiple student populations that fall within that. So as it relates to Summer Rising for curb to school, students register for summer with IEP's recommended transportation. They will receive busing at 8 a.m. and up until 3 p.m. with rideshare at 6 p.m., including students in temporary housing, students in foster care, and 504s who receive busing in the 10-month. Students participating in ESY, day and ASD programs, will also be bused at their program start and end times. If they're staying until 6, they will be able to access rideshare. So I'll go into a little bit about what that means when we say up until 3 p.m. There are, as I mentioned, multiple programs who will be attending summer school. And so based on what your program end time is, that's when you'll be bused. I'll give an example. ASC students who are only participating in the ASD program, their session time is up until 12 p.m. The bus will come for that student at that point. Same with D75 is 210 to 20, the bus will come at that point. However, if these students are participating in Summer Rising and staying beyond the time that they are scheduled to be in for their program, that's when the rideshare option will kick in, and I'll go into that more a little bit later. So for Stop the School, this population was formerly known as general education busing. Doesn't particularly always apply to this group because most of our students in this population, D75, are IEP mandated students recommended for transportation, i.e. busing, but there are some students who do utilize Metro cards. But so you're aware, Stop the School busing, students who receive Stop the School service in the school year and are registered for summer school will receive busing to their Summer Rising site, providing that the summer site is a half mile or more from the home school and summer site is within district. That's for those who know that's typically our shuttle bus policy, where we shuttle kids from one site to another if they typically used to walk to school. Families opting for summer rising sites outside of the district or outside of the borough, they will receive a Metro card, and you can find our grade and distance eligibility on the transportation eligibility page. Ride share. So a lot to unpack here. We are in the process of making this more public so that we can share with families and schools who have been asking about rideshare. We have a new vendor that's contracted that starts on June 30th. They won the vote at the PEP meeting a month or so back. Currently, or in this school year, we were using Uber and Drivers Cooperative. So now we're down to one vendor who we are contracted with, and it's Limosis. So for rideshare, the overview here will be that DOE will be offering rideshare to eligible families for 6 p.m. summer rising dismissal, as busing will only be available through 3 p.m. This rideshare model is site-driven and parent-procured. Parents, guardian, or authorized adults book rides to and from summer rising sites through the Limosis website. All eligible students will have a voucher code for Limosis in their NICSA account. Those codes have been created centrally. So basically, there will be a code that will be associated with the student's profile, and that's how they will be able to access the rideshare. By July 5th or prior to July 5th, schools will be instructed to reach out to eligible families to inform them of their options and assist them in creating a NICSA account if it's needed. And then we have information for the Summer Rising website where you can find more. And so there's also links here for admin training, not necessarily for this group, but these are some of the things that we're offering to families and for schools to support. So rideshare eligibility. Students are eligible for 6 p.m. rideshare if they meet all of the following criteria. They were in grades K to 8 in the school year 2022-2023, the current year that just finished today. They will be at a Summer Rising or D75 hub site for enrichment programming. They have a program code in ADSUM, and ADSUM, for those who don't know, it's an ATS function for summer registration. The program code that indicates they will be participating in programming until 6, so that's how we know who they are. They have a curb to school busing for summer. Also, and this is an expansion from previous school years, they are a student in temporary housing or a student in foster care student routed for stop the school busing in the summer, and if in grades K to 6 or 7th to 8th grade if you have an IEP. So basically, before you used to just be, if you receive curb to school, you were in the populations that I mentioned. Now we've expanded that to students in temporary housing and students in foster care, as we recognize they are also among our vulnerable populations. So next, thank you. So accessing rideshare, I know there've been questions about how to do that. And so again, rideshare will be provision set from Monday through Friday up to from July 5th to August 15th. That's the last day for D75. To be used beginning at 4 p.m. and ending no later than 8 p.m. So families can start booking those trips as early as 4 to be prepared to pick their students up at 6 o'clock. To book a ride, families can book directly through the Limosis website, or they can contact this number that's listed here. Families will be able to book 2 trips, totaling 4 rides a day with a single voucher code, i.e., a school in the AM, from the school in the AM, and then the PM adult pickup to the school, and from the school in the PM. So basically what that means is you can, basically the parent is coming from, wherever they need to come from, whether it's home, whether it's work, and they can go and pick up the child at the school, and then that same ride will bring them back. Families must use the Summer Rising address as both the destination of the ride to pick up their child and as a starting point for their ride. The ride can only be booked from the school address, the start and end points. So that's kind of a stopgap we put in to ensure that the students are participating in Summer Rising, and we have all those sites uploaded for Limosis. So support and escalation protocols that we put in place, again, by noon. On July 5th, the principal in charge or designee or transportation coordinator must contact these families using the contact information, again, in the reports within ATS, to inform parents that they are eligible for the service and provide those voucher codes. They should also inform the parent guardian where they can access the codes moving forward, as well as the fact that the person picking up the child must be an authorized adult over the age of 18, per the student's Blue Card information and or DYCD supplemental enrollment form. If families need technical support, it goes into that, and then also goes into if families need access to the voucher code for Limosis, they can log into their NICSA account under the transportation screen's vehicle modification field, it will be listed as an eligibility code. If families do not have a NICSA, the CBO should escalate to the DOE staff member with access to student profile, i.e. the transportation coordinator, the principal in charge, AP site supervisor, or another designee who can look up this eligibility code on behalf of the family after confirming the adult is authorized to pick up the child. So that was pretty much it for rideshare, and I'm going to hand it over to Laquana to go into VIA, and then after we can take your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Lanika, and thank you, Kristen, for the introduction. So VIA. VIA is a project that will modernize and actually has modernized New York City student transportation, as we have been launching to have a full launch in the fall. It will provide families with essential information and give them a peace of mind, as they'll be able to track their students' route to and from school on a daily basis. This effort has been made in partnership with VIA, which is a leading transportation technology. And this project focuses on 5 areas designated to provide greater transparency into student transportation and more efficient busing operations. So what this has looked like since we have launched VIA is in the fall of 2022, VIA was rolled out in District 26. On May 8th, VIA expanded its bus tracking system to 2 bus companies, which was Pioneer and Nicest Bus. And this impacted 32,000 students across New York City schools, which is across all boroughs and districts. If you look at this chart, it shows basically the total routes that it impacted and the total number of students. And this fall, we are excited because we plan to expand VIA citywide, which means all parents within all boroughs and all districts will have the ability to track their students as they make their way to and from school. And that ends our presentation. This is just OPT contacts if you have any additional information, but of course, we will stay on for any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much. The floor is open to our parents, and members are here that do have any specific questions in regard to the presentation that they've seen. Let me check the chat. I do not see anything in the chat. Does anyone have any questions? Or I do see that we do have our superintendent and things here. Accessing, yes, hold on one moment. Accessing rideshare. Is there any more information in regarding to how they would access rideshare?
So I am seeing another question come up in the chat, and so I'll address that as
Yes.
well.
Okay.
So, just to be clear, so last year, schools were more hands-on in terms of booking the trips for family. They were provided with a dashboard, and schools had more of a hand in that. However, based on the current model, is parent procured, because we want the parents to be able to, make their choices and be able to book the trips when they're available to go pick up the student. And those times are from 4 to 8 p.m. Meaning, when I say 4 to 8 p.m., that's when you can start booking the trip. You can reserve your ride to say, you want to be picked up from here, going to this school, and at which time, kind of like in an advanced model. Although summarizing is over at 6 o'clock, it has been extended to 8 p.m. only because you never know. Things happen, you're late, you're running late. Hopefully it doesn't happen, because as the CBOs want to exit students from the building, but that's just kind of when the trips can start and end. So just in terms of accessing rideshare, again, it's through a website that we have for Mimosas, as well as a phone number, and parents will be able to go into their NICSA account, get those codes that have been pre-generated by the central teams, and be able to log in and use that, kind of like a voucher code. Think of like a coupon code when you're shopping or you're getting a discount. All of the rides are fully paid for. Parents are not expected to pay anything. They would just go in, put in their information, put the voucher code, and that will open up access to rideshare. Will rideshare be available when busing fails? Hopefully that does not happen, but we know it has happened this past school year, meaning if there's a route outage for a certain amount of time, yes, that is a separate workflow, but yes, rideshare will also be available and offered to the families in those limited circumstances.
What about the, I see in the comments as well, it says from 4 to 8 p.m. Is that a limited circumstance as well? Or what would they do if they needed to have coverage for 4 to 8 p.m. for their child or in the morning?
So the expectation is that all buses are going to run as they should. Only in those limited circumstances where there's a route outage, and that's usually if there's no driver for some reason. However, during the summertime, it's definitely a smaller population of students and definitely less drivers. And so as of right now, where we stand today, we have enough drivers to cover those routes. However, emergencies happen, things come up. So if in the limited circumstances that rideshare, a route is not available because the driver is out for an extended time, couple of days, week, whatever it is, and we're unable to, and the vendor's unable to locate a driver, then we will be reaching out to those families. Well, the school will reach out to those families and offer that rideshare. There's also a voucher code or a NICSA code for that as well, but it's under a separate heading, so we know which one is for an outage and which one is basically for summarizing. And the AM to PM requirement is basically what I was just explaining in terms of the outage, because I see that as a question. It's built in for that purpose, for if there is an outage that comes into play, parent can come from the morning from home, go to school, go back to where they need to be, and then same thing in the afternoon, come from work home, retrieve the child and go back.
Okay. So is there, just for myself, is there a window of time, like when a parent says, I need to be able to access this, is it immediate? What time frame would they have to expect to be able to have the assistance with rideshare, et cetera?
So for the 6 p.m. option, which we're specifically talking about for summarizing, is going to be set up day one. Parents are going to be able to book their trips day one. The codes are going to be readily available. And again, as I mentioned, if for some reason they don't have a code or have an NICSA account, that's when they would talk to, their principal or their school, someone, the transportation coordinator, someone at the school who can help them access either the code or help them set up a NICSA account. So we're encouraging all families to have a NICSA account in general, not just for summer, but in general, because it's important to track your child's progress, not just for transportation, but you can see attendance, you can see grades. NICSA is a very valuable tool for all of our students in the DOE.
The next question that's in the chat is, will children be able to ride the rideshare without a parent being present, or is an authorized adult over the age of 18 required?
Authorized adult over 18 is definitely required. They are not allowed to travel alone.
The second question is, can you go over the GPS pilot or rollout?
Do you have that one?
Yes, that's in regards to VIA. So the rollout, as I mentioned, first began in District 26. Then on May 8th, we launched to two of our vendors, which was Nisus and Pioneer, and that impacted over 32,000 students. And then for the fall, we expect the expansion to go citywide. So every student that rides a New York City bus and has transportation will have VIA available to them, and their parent will be able to track them.
Okay. The next question is, let's see, does rideshare, if no driver is available, apply to District 75 summer school as well? I'm going to assume that answer would be yes, since you said citywide.
Yep, citywide, it applies to all curved school populations, as well as students in temporary housing and students in foster care.
Okay. The second question says para assignment. Our understanding from school teams is that paras aren't assigned until the first day of school, and someone has to take the position at that point. Many students will miss the first day of summer session at least. Can't assignments be offered earlier to identify problems sooner? Students have missed days and weeks of school in the past, and summer teams aren't hopeful for a different experience this summer.
I think that's a question for the SEO team, for the special education office, but I definitely partner with them on this, and I can definitely bring that question back and get some answers for you.
They're also asking if this presentation can be shared via PowerPoint so that we can distribute it to the parents.
We can share this PowerPoint. However, all of this information is going to be family facing on the DOE website. So we can just give you that link and it'll be an expansion of this. This is very limited information for the purposes of this meeting, but all things summarizing will be on our family facing site as well as an FAQ. So we will share that.
And I want to just go ahead and piggyback on what you were saying in regard to having a NICSA account. And there's an easy step for you guys since you're already here. I'm going to send you our council's website. And on the landing page, there is a link to go to NICSA, to access NICSA, and to be able to have the information that they are providing for you today in regard to the accessing the rides and things of that nature. I do see in the chat, children attending ASD or ACES program in a community school will have access to use rideshare. Will the school offer Metro cards for parents that will have to pick up the kids in order for them to stay in the afternoon session, but the yellow bus is in their IEP?
So our first start up is saying, again, rideshare for 6 p.m. busing is available to all curb to school populations, regardless of what program you're in. If you're D75, ASD, ESY, does not matter. A NICSA code will be created on the student's profile. There are times when families may want to retrieve their students early, or students who are able to prior to 6 p.m. Again, our buses are routed to 3 p.m. or up to your program end time. Students who, again, who may not want to participate in summarizing on any given day, we do provide extra Metro cards at the school, and they are available upon request.
Okay, thank you so much for that. The last thing that I do see here is, please advise if a driver and bus company lies to me, even though they did not come to pick up my child at the front of my house as I had this morning. Ms. Yoonhee, do you want to unmute and speak more about that? I'm not sure if I understand the question that you want to present to the Office of Pupil Transportation. I don't see her holding her hand up.
I can just say, just as overall, if there are concerns with the driver or the bus showing a blade or not fulfilling the obligations that they're supposed to provide, definitely should be called into our customer service unit. They also should notify the school, and we do have GPS tracking on all of our buses currently, so we can look into that to see what time they showed up, if they showed up at all. And obviously, if we see that they are not following our policies and guidelines, violations will be issues, and there will be action taken accordingly. So for anyone who is having concerns with their bus driver or with their route, please contact the school. They're also able to log in these complaints, and they should also call our customer service line, which is, as you can see in this slide, is 718-392-8855.
And also, just to piggyback for our council in the way that we do support you guys as parents, we do have a busing committee, and our members are very diligent in getting back to our parents in regard to what's going on with your child, if you need additional help. And we do work with OPT, and they have been really great partners in helping us help the parents. So you can also email us at d75council@schools.nyc.gov so that you can actually have an additional team to help you push forward and through with any considerations or concerns that you may have. Are there any additional questions that we have in the chat for OPT? I see my grandson is in a district, he's a District 75 student. He will be attending the summer program. I've received his transportation info on our school account. How does the program you're talking about work for us? I'm completely lost.
If Miss Allen, if you want to come off mute and kind of explain more, because I'm not sure I understand the question.
Sure. I mean, this is a whole new thing. The terminology and the initials and all of that, I'm completely lost, because it sounds like Royal should be going to school a different way in this Metro card thing, and what time he's going to be picked up, and going online and looking at a schedule to see how far the bus is from us. I mean, that's a whole new thing for me. I'm not sure. I know what bus company he's going to be driving with. I just don't know. God,
it's okay. It's very overwhelming. I do understand that. So as a D75 student, basically what it means is that, and thank you for that you're able to see the bus company in the schedule. So basically what that means is that he'll be, you'll get your pickup time as you normally would during the school year. That's going
Right.
to come right before school starts.
Mhm.
He'll be dropped off at the designated time that his school said he has to be there.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, the time that program ends is when he'll be picked up. I'm
Right.
not sure if he's participating summarizing or not, or if he's
I don't
just
know.
going because he's
That's called
75.
summarizing. I know his IEP demands that he's in school 12 months of the year. So I know
Okay.
he's in summer school. I just don't know all these different terminologies that are
Got
being
you. So let me explain to
summarizing,
you what
another thing.
summarizing is. So summarizing is basically a CBO, a community-based organization kind of enrichment program. Think about it as kind of like an extended camp, if you will. So in the morning, the kids go for their academics or what their IP mandates. In your case, 12 months year round, they need to go and get that additional support even in summer. And
Right.
so after all of the support and after all the things they need ends at, say 2:10, 2:30 or whatever it is, then students have the option of staying and they'll do fun things like trips and like kind of like a camp, if you will.
Okay.
And you have an option to opt into that. Your child does not have to attend that. You have the option to do that. And that portion of the program or that community-based organization that will be in your child's school ends at 6 o'clock. And so that's what we're saying, because our contracts doesn't allow us to provide busing after 3 p.m. And therefore, this is why we've put this ride share. And ride share basically means, think of like Uber, like when you take an Uber. We're not using Uber anymore. It's a different name, but it's the same kind of idea or model. So basically, if he's just going to his regular program, nothing will change. It will be the same as it is now. We picked up in the morning, dropped off at the same time, afternoon, he'll come back home unless you decide, or the family decides that they want him to participate in some of the enrichment or fun activities outside of academics.
Okay.
So
So that's something I should take up with the school about.
Yes, yes.
And then they should
definitely,
work with
yes.
me about how all this other stuff is going to, going to affect him. I
Exactly.
thank you so very, very
Exactly.
much.
Exactly.
I do appreciate you taking the time to answer, to respond to my question.
No worries. Appreciate your question. Thank you.
So question for you guys. Let's say a child has difficulty on the bus, but they do have a route to get back and forth on the bus. Could ride sharing still be an exception or an option for parents whose child is just having really big difficulty getting on and off of a bus?
So the way we view school bus transportation is like an extension of the school, right? And so if a student is having some issues, let's say in school, then it would be addressed by the school. So same thing, if a student is having an issue on the bus, we want to make sure what those issues are and to kind of see how we can get the student regulated and used to riding a school bus. And there's different pathways, and we have an incident management team that also works with schools to ensure what those plans are. Some students need a para, some students need a shorter ride, whatever the issue may be. Some students need to be separated. We do like seating plans. So before we go to any of these alternative solutions, which they're alternative, they're not a long-term solution. They're a solution to an immediate emergency need, like 6 p.m. ride share in summer, because we can't offer it past 3. It's not meant to take the place of a school bus. We want to make sure that students are comfortable on the transportation that they're mandated by their IEP and what additional supports are needed to get that student more comfortable on riding a bus.
I have here, thank you so much for that. Who do we contact about the child not staying for everyday sessions at the afternoon session to ride the bus back home when the child is not staying for the afternoon session? The school?
Yes, the school is going to be taking attendance, and so they're going to be able to know. And again, that's why I want to share the actual guidance link with you all, so that you can see what that looks like. And basically, the school is going to take attendance. And if for some reason a family chooses not to stay on any particular given day, definitely reach out to the school or transportation coordinator to let them know of your plans. That way, maybe the student needs to get on at 3 because they don't want to stay till 6, or vice versa. Maybe they want to stay till 6 and not ride that bus at 3. So just kind of communicating with your school is the best way.
quick question. Is there a way, I know we do a lot of presentations and things with you guys, so thank you so much for your time. Just hearing about you saying the incident management team, is there a way, or do they do workshops or presentations so parents know what their options are when they do run into these spaces where there is difficulty and you guys are providing the bus, but there's difficulty and knowing what your options are? Or is that just a school-based thing, and they could tell the parents what the incident management team does and what the options are?
So the incident management team liaises with the school. The schools talk to the parents, right, and say this was an issue. So if an incident happens on the bus crew, driver, and attendant, they give what's called incident reports, and so they have to log what happened, and they give a copy to the school, and we receive copies as well. And so based on that, then that's when it's kind of like a collaboration to see what happened, what occurred, how can we make things better for that student in that instance. So it's more of, it's an OPT based team, but we work closely with schools because schools know the students best, right? And they know, you know, these are the triggers, these are the things that we know will work. Can you try this? Can you try that? Separate Johnny from Tony. I don't know, you know, whatever that may be, like at that particular moment, are things that our incident management tries to work alongside with the school to do.
Thank you. Yoon Hee really has another question. There was pickup in the morning, drop off in the afternoon. Sometimes a bus is being late, but a driver or bus company does not give a call or message as we give them, and we're just waiting outside forever. Please advise how to communicate with them. If we are late or absent from school, we definitely inform a driver and company, but they do not. It's so unfair.
Right, and so that's what I was saying before, is definitely unfair and unacceptable, actually. And so you definitely need to call it in to us, because there are what we call violations that we enter for vendors when they don't complete what they're supposed to do in terms of their contractual obligations. And so what that means, violations, is monetary damages, like monies are removed from them from not doing that. And if it's something individual specific to what a driver or attendant is doing, also through our customer service line, we can log in complaints that can go to our investigations team to see what, if anything, they did to not comply. And then based on that, that's how the driver or the attendant may receive those disciplinary actions as well. So it's all about logging it in to let us know, and definitely understand your frustration on that. But we have to be able to track and monitor them, and that's the best way to hold our vendors and our drivers accountable.
This says, I'm encouraged with the positive changes. This past school year with the school buses was the most challenging we've had so far, and my son is now going into middle school. Unreliable, no shows, lateness, extensive absent drivers, no communication, etc. What I do want to state to you guys in here, Ruth DeRoma, if you want to come off of mute, you may. She did say that there's a scheduled meeting at the Brooklyn Public Library, I think, that goes more in depth in regard to this type of presentation. Ruth, if you want to come off of mute to speak about that, you can really quickly, or we will, oh, go ahead.
Okay, I'm from Include NYC, which is the Family and Community Engagement Center for the New York State Education Department, but we work hand in hand with, obviously, the New York City Department of Ed and OPT. Last year, OPT created a presentation with us that we present in different areas of the city. We already have one on the books. I think it's August 9th at the Brooklyn Public Library, but we can bring it to different school districts or whatever. And I'm hoping with all these new people that I haven't met before, that we can update this year's. And I've been talking to Mr. Bannon while we're on here tonight. I hope that we'll be able to have that ready in time so that we can present it to you all. We are, if you haven't heard of Include, just look on your prior written notice on your child's IEP. We're embedded in there. We are the information agency that works in conjunction with the DOE. So I'm hoping that we can get the presentation up and running and present it to schools, districts, and community organization.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I dropped my email in the chat. You could also either email me or the council so that we can make sure to share and get that information out wide.
Sure, I recognize a lot of your names, so absolutely.
Perfect. I want to say there's someone else. Let's see. How and whom do I log into Royals bus very late? I've called the bus company. This seems like it would be another NICSA situation. I have the dispatcher call the bus driver to find out when the bus will arrive. How and whom do I log in to get information? Is this, I don't know if that's a login to NICSA or login to OPT. I don't understand the question. Would you like to come off of mute, Arletha, and speak?
Certainly. First of all, I don't know who UPT or OPD, and
The
again,
office?
all these initials are just initials to me.
Yes, ma'am, my
You're talking to a
apologies.
76-year-old woman trying to take care of a 17-year-old grandson.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
it's
Okay.
all new to me. So you're talking very quickly, and I understand that. You can't hold out for me to eventually catch up. So when we're talking
want to
about
call-
logging in to somebody, if it's a situation with your child's bus, I don't know who that person is. I mean, I don't know how to, when you use the term log in, apparently there's some kind of a company that's related to children traveling. And if you're having an issue with your bus, like,
Okay, so I think it's that page. We already talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I updated because
Miss Arletha, I hear your concerns, and I definitely want to make sure you know that your hand is held here throughout the whole thing. I will try to slow down. I am epically fast.
oh, no, please don't. No. You got a lot of other people that need to hear what you're saying. And,
Yes,
and I know
ma'am.
that you're on the time. So I mean, I get that. And so I apologize for asking questions that require a lengthy response.
No, please
But
don't
I'm just really
apologize.
new. I mean, I just,
Yes.
I'm just new. I don't know anything. I'm learning as I go along with my grandson.
Well, I'll tell you this, not to cut you off by any means. In the chat, I put OPT. That's the Office of Pupil Transportation. And they are over getting the children to and from school, et cetera, with transportation, as I said here. NICSA is the New York City schools account. That's what they're referring to. And I'll put a link into that so
Oh,
that.
no, I have a New York, I have a school account. That's how I know
Perfect.
Royal's his bus for summer school. Because I use the New York school account.
Okay. Well, a lot of information we do have on our council's website, ccd75.org. There's a specific page for busing and for OPT, but you can always reach out to us as well if you would like more in-depth information and question sessions. We are here to help you guys with that, as well as I know OPT is as well.
Pupil.
I'm sorry, I think I can't hear you, Miss
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I should put myself on mute because I'm just talking out loud to myself. I'm sorry.
Okay, so then thank you. I'll jump back into the chat. It says, where can I write or get this information in Spanish? We are going to apologies. There was a mishap with T&I, and we were unable to get interpretation for this particular meeting. We are going to attempt to translate it in Spanish, hopefully before the week is out, and to have that up with this recording on the council's YouTube. So if you would please email us your particular number or information, excuse me, to the District 75 Council, and we'll make sure that we give it to you specifically as well, so that you can have that information in Spanish. I see, is it possible to offer parents whose children ride the same bus an opportunity to link somehow?
When you say, Ms. Fernandez, when you say link, can you just expand on that a little bit, please?
Hi, yes. I was just wondering if, there was a way that we could connect with one another. I know it would be useful, like if there's an issue with the bus, if I'm not the only one that has the issue, that other parents also have that same issue with the driver not stopping, or, trying to connect with the bus matron and her not responding to you only when it's convenient for her to let you know she's dropping your child off, or if you're waiting for the bus and you have another kid that you're trying to take to school too, and the bus is not there at the time they say they're going to be there, and you're, wondering what time they're going to show up. Maybe it would be useful to have that, give the parents an opportunity, like, hey, my kid is on the bus on pickup, the 10th child picked up. If I could text somebody and say the 6th child, hey, have your son been picked up for the bus yet? At least knowing they're on their way would be kind of helpful.
Okay, so there was a few things I want to unpack there. So in terms of if other families have a similar issue. This is why it's important also to notify your school that this is happening, because as you're doing that, other families are doing that, and they could definitely, like I mentioned, they can definitely enter in those complaints and also escalate to their transportation liaison, who has direct access to our routers, to our vendors, and to get those issues resolved. So that's how on a global scale, we can say, it's not just this one parent, something's wrong with this entire
Right, but
in
I
general.
think we don't know that. We don't know as parents. I can, yes, I can contact the school. I can contact DOE about the bus or the bus driver or anybody, but I don't know that other parents are doing that because
Right.
we never get feedback regarding
Right.
what.
So I think, again, those communications need to happen with the school. Unfortunately, we would not be able to share other parents' personal private information about other students, IDs, addresses, all those things are, we respect the privacy of other families, so we would not be able to do that. However, with the expansion of VIA, as we mentioned, you'll be able to track your child's route in real time. You'll be able to see that they're next in line or whatever the time that they're supposed to be picked up, or if they're running late. So that's a future functionality that will exist, and we're hoping to roll out in September. But for now, it's important to make sure that your school is in the loop, and also make sure you're logging in complaints when there's no shows or lateness.
Okay, I mean, I wasn't asking for the school to provide it. I was saying give the parents an opportunity. If you would like to share your information with the other parents of children that are on your bus, here's the opportunity to do so. I'm not saying that you have to give it to, but if I want to, I don't know the other parents. I don't know them, what class their child is, the age of their child, but it might be helpful to have that sort of connection. And I'm thinking of somebody that was just speaking who doesn't know. There could be someone that's more privy or aware of the information that's with regards to transportation.
Right. No, absolutely. And I've definitely seen families and communities come together and support each other by building those relationships. So I definitely can appreciate that. Would be helpful.
And in the chat, we do have one person that said to give your number to the unit coordinator to share. Just listening to you, I think that it would be really great to have our PTAs or President's Council come into this. We do have, it's brand new this year, a District 75 member on each Community Education Council. So this could be something that they could also possibly tackle and make a bit easier for parents to know in concert what may be going on that level. So that's something I'll definitely push forward to the new council so that they can work on that, just to make sure you guys are seen, heard, and feel connected as well as you move forward in the school year.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Are there any further questions in the chat? If not, I do know we have our district members here, our Superintendent Louisant, Shauna Gibson, Mrs. Ortega. I know Shelley was here earlier. I want to leave a little bit of room in case you guys wanted to jump in and just add anything or have anything to say. If not, I don't want to put you on the spot. All righty.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are always on the spot because we know that we like to help and support our families. I know some of you had some questions regarding your children. I will say to you, best thing to do when you have any doubt or you don't know exactly what to do or what to ask, it's always best to go to your child's schools and ask them certain questions, because they know more than we may know about your children, and they will know exactly, for example, are they enrolled in this program? Why are they part of this program? What they can do to support them individually. So that's what we will recommend. But of course, you can always reach out to the district office. We are always there to support you as well. And our number is 212-802-1502.
Let me unmute. Perfect. Thank you so much. Could you repeat that so I could put it in the chat again? 212?
802 1502.
1502. Thank you so much, Superintendent Kettler. If all hearts and minds are clear, if we do not have any further questions in the chat, let me just double check. I don't see anything here. I will go ahead and bring this meeting to a close. Please do know that this will be posted on our YouTube page, on our council, ccd75.org. We will get a translation to make sure that those people who need it in Spanish will have this available. And thank you for your time. If you do have any questions, as stated here, we want to thank Mrs. Laquana, Mrs. Lanika, and Brendan for giving us this presentation, for giving us the options. Please screenshot the information and the contacts and use them accordingly. They are here for you. They will answer. They will help. We are all team members. And if you do have any more questions, please just email them, email the council, and we will do our most diligent to help you in wherever space that you may be in. Again, thank you for coming tonight. If anyone has any last words, Laquana, Lanika, I don't know if our co-president is still here, Amy. If so, this would be the space for you.
I would just like to say thank you all for having us. I hope that we were able to answer your questions and help you out, and just know that we are always here to assist. We want to make sure that students, who need transportation are getting the assistance they need, and making sure that we start their day getting to school and on the best foot possible, so that they have a great experience during their school day.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you guys so very much. Again, we hope to see you guys online. If you need to follow up, if you came to the meeting late, CCD 75 outreach on YouTube. We will make sure to send this out to all of you who are listed on this email as well, so that you have the information. Once we do get the PDF, we'll give that to you, and or just the website, so that you have the front facing information for our parents. Again, thank you guys so much. And we do hope that you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Have a good night.